So, aside from the big mainstream flagship game that we'll be getting to in a second, we also
Which you probably know.
Yeah, we're going to be on this one for a bit.
Yeah.
We also had Sonic Genesis, which was a 2006 Game Boy Advance port of Sonic 1.
Huh.
That is an absolute butcherment of the original game. Like,
I thought that was going towards like a nice place, and then you went butchered.
Sonic Genesis is one of the worst ports you'll ever play.
Oh my god.
They took a great game in Sonic 1 and murdered it in every way. The screen is crunched. The screen is way too small.
Yeah.
It slows down. The music's off.
Yeah.
The physics are all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a sight to behold.
This is how you should have known that the other game we're going to talk about was going to be bad.
And I haven't even got to the other two yet.
Oh no.
Well, no, that's the funny part. So Sonic Genesis. The fact
it's a bad port of the.
Well, here's the thing: the Game Boy Advance superior to the Genesis in terms of hardware. How did they screw it up? Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. On this episode, me and Alex are going to be continuing our Sonic the Hedgehog discussion and chronicling the series' sharp decline in its modern and more modern times, along with continuing some of its lowest points and its brief resurgence in the mid-2010s, before it also would decline again in recent days, before we kind of would go into its brief kind of limbo of some games are good, some games are bad, and kind of the odd direction the series has been in with the past couple of years. It's odd. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us. This is the Sonic the Hedgehog Podcast, Part 2. So, how you been?
Well, it's been a short week, and you know how short weeks go. They seem great in theory, but in practice, they're terrible.
Well, I had an extra short week because I took an extra day.
Oh, so you had an extra shitty week, or an okay week. What was your week? Tell me about your life.
Well, I spent the first 2 days of this week doing nothing.
Well, pretty good.
Because what's there to do right now? I started playing through the Uncharted series again, so that's fun.
Nice. Did you do anything for
the 4th?
Yeah, did you guys do anything special?
No.
No. That's okay.
We get to listen to people light fireworks off for like 4 days straight, so.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yep. No, and then I worked for 3 days. It was pretty non-standard. Nothing crazy happened.
Yep. No oil. Well, besides the weather.
Well, the ceiling... We didn't lose power today, which was amazing, and the ceiling didn't leak over my machine.
Hey, that's all that matters. If it doesn't leak over yours.
The tarp worked, damn it.
You know what would be funny? I'd love to be like a building inspector who comes in and is just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, it just is like, this is not in code or say. I would love
It's alright. The front offices, the ceiling, like, the styrofoam, like, ceiling tiles up in the ceiling?
Yeah.
They were sagging down on Friday last week, and they came in and they all collapsed because of water.
No, that's the worst.
Which we all were like, it's gonna happen, but no one seemed to care at the time, but whatever.
Those styrofoam ceiling panels, they may not look great, but when your ceiling has a leak, it's much easier to replace a ceiling panel than a ceiling.
Well, we need a new roof. We need a new building. That building's like gonna collapse one of these days.
That's the problem with flat roof buildings. If they don't have a proper drainage system, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I've been up on the roof of our building before, and there's like spots where it like sinks in a little, and I'm like, this is fun.
Yep. Nope. It doesn't have a proper drainage system. You know, you gotta have a proper storm drainage system. I have to deal with them a lot because I work with plumbing.
Our building's also like ancient and
apart, too.
So.
It's also probably just old.
Yeah, old's not even the half of it. You should see the condemned building that we have behind our main building.
Oh boy, I don't want to see it. I'm good.
Yep. So how was your week, other than that?
I mean, it was a short week, so there's just a lot to do in a little time. I had a couple of meetings that were pretty interesting. Got to go, like, actually in the job site and stuff, and it seems like it's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be a little stressful, but it should be interesting to see. I got a new coffee table.
Yep.
Exciting stuff, people. And my cat loves it. She loves to sit on it. And speaking of my cat, it's her birthday today. So everyone wish her a happy birthday to my cat, who I love. She's 4.
Oh, you're almost the same age.
Almost. I'm 6. Okay?
Yeah, but in cat years, she's probably like 30 something now. So.
No, don't say that. She's my baby. I love you. She's behind me.
Yeah. Well, so, anyways. Back to Sonic, where we left off.
Oh wait, you didn't say.
Oh yeah,
Don't forget our bits. Don't forget.
Yeah, we drink a lot on this podcast, as it's been kind of apparent. 2020, people.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, but 2020 caused this.
Oh, true.
Today I'm drinking a sparkling ice spike hard seltzer.
Nice. Is it good?
It's 80 calories and it doesn't taste like shit, so.
So it's a win.
Yep.
Well, today I'm drinking a hint pineapple water because I haven't had time to stop at the liquor store this week, and so I'm drinking this, just some water, but it has some pineapple-y flavors, so.
Yep.
I've just been too lazy. Well, because I want to go to Stu Leonard's and use their alcohol savings program. But, like, it's, like, work to go to the store. Unless I'm, like, going to the store completely. So I think I'm going to go grocery shopping there so I can go to the liquor store there this weekend.
Yep. Well, on that note, back to Sonic. So, we had left off on our previous podcast. We basically finished right around Shadow.
Yes.
Right around the beginning of the series' decline.
Right around Shadow having a gun.
Out of the edge. But I actually, going back and thinking about it, I actually forgot to mention one very important game that came before Shadow, kind of like right around that time.
Mm-hmm.
That is somewhat important. Sonic Rush.
Is that the one with the bird people?
No.
Oh. It's not bird people.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that one in a second.
Was that the one that was a handheld?
Yes,
that was only. Yeah.
Yes.
I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going. Not bird people.
No, we'll get to that in a minute. So, the Sonic handheld games have pretty much always. We kind of touched on the early Sonic handheld games for the Game Gear that were kind of hit or miss. Sega never directly develops any of these. They kind of always outsource to another company who handles them, and we kind of touched upon the Advance series in the previous podcast, which was developed by a company called Dimps.
Yeah.
And Dimps was founded by former SNK employees, and I think also a couple Capcom employees were in there too. I know it was mostly former SNK employees, because the majority of the team was actually members from the team that made Sonic Pocket Adventure for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which was the first Sonic game to be released on a non-Sega handheld, but this is when Sega was still making consoles at the time.
Yep.
So, the Rush series was the sequel to the Advance series.
Mm-hmm.
The Advance series ran for 3 games on the Game Boy Advance, and each one... They were basically just kind of a continuation of classic Genesis Sonic, although each game progressively got faster and faster, and kind of lost a bit of the feel of classic Sonic, in a sense. And the handheld Advance series is most notable for introducing Cream the Rabbit to the series.
Oh, the little bunny girl.
Yeah, the one with the really annoying voice.
Mm-hmm. And she likes the chows.
Yes. Cream and cheese.
Cream and
cheese the chow. But, besides the point, Advanced series is really good. The third game's kind of eh. And then following the Advanced series, Dimps would move on to the Nintendo DS and would work on the Rush series.
Yes.
Now, the Rush series is fascinating because it's notably the first game in the series to use the 4Kids voice actors.
Yep.
Although Ryan Drummond did record some audio for like one of the first trailers. But the game primarily uses Jason Griffith and all the 4Kids voice actors for the minimal voice acting in that game.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why Rush is such an important game in the Sonic series is because it introduces the character Blaze the Cat.
Yep, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Yep. Who is one of the rare new Sonic characters who was actually well received upon conception or whatever.
Yeah, upon her first appearance.
Yes, similar to Shadow, she was popular from the get-go.
Yeah, she does have really great character design.
She does. And she had a good voice actress, and she basically plays identically to Sonic with a few minor alterations, which is kind of the reason why Shadow was so popular.
Yeah.
Besides the edgy factor, because the early 2000s.
Ow, the edge.
This is even before that. But another thing about Rush was it also introduced a mechanic that would become very important later on, called the boost mechanic, where rather than focusing, so the Rush is a weird game because it's a really good game, but at the same time it also was the beginning of a problem that Sonic was going to have inherently with future titles, particularly the handheld ones.
Mm-hmm.
The physics-based platforming was basically gone at this point, and they basically went for all-out speed.
Yep.
And this is also the point where Dimps' level design problems started becoming very apparent.
Oh.
Where there was a lot of bottomless pits and cheap death. But for the most part, Rush was a really solid game.
Yeah.
Now, Rush was followed by Shadow the Hedgehog, as we discussed earlier.
Yep.
Which was the first Sonic game that really took a downward step. Because say what you want about Heroes, some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah.
Shadow is almost universally disliked. I mean, yeah, there's people that like it, but the general consensus is Shadow's not a good game.
The like to dislike ratio, it's more thumbs down.
This was the first one where it was really apparent things were starting to kind of go haywire at Sonic.
Like, ooh, what's going on?
So, following Shadow the Hedgehog, we have the Sonic 15th anniversary.
Yep.
Because Sonic's anniversary celebrations have always been big milestones, like the 10th anniversary was Adventure 2, which was a big celebration of the series at the time.
Yep.
The 15th anniversary, let's just say Sega tried to go all out and failed miserably in so many ways. So, for starters, obviously everyone knows about the big game. We're going to get to that one last. But I also want to talk about the other 3 games that were released alongside it. So, aside from the big mainstream flagship game that we'll be getting to in a second, we also
Which you probably know.
We're going to be on this one for a bit.
Yeah.
We also had Sonic Genesis, which was a 2006 Game Boy Advance port of Sonic 1.
Huh.
That is an absolute butcherment of the original game. Like,
I thought that was going towards like a nice place, and then you went butchered.
Sonic Genesis is one of the worst ports you'll ever play.
Oh my god.
They took a a great game
Yeah.
in Sonic 1
Yeah.
and murdered it in every way. The screen is crunched. The screen is way too small.
Yeah.
It slows down. The music's off.
Yeah.
The physics are all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a sight to behold.
This is how you should have known that the other game we're going to talk about was going to be bad.
And I haven't even got to the other two yet.
Oh no.
Well, no, that's the fun. That's the funny part. So yeah, Sonic Genesis is the fact
it's a bad port of the.
Well, here's the thing: the Game Boy Advance superior to the Genesis in terms of hardware. How did they screw it up? We'll never know. Honestly, we still don't even know who made the damn thing because it's very unclear.
Huh. Mystery.
All we know is Sega made it, but we don't know who at Sega made it. It's a mystery. We'll
they don't want anyone to know. They're trying to bury it. Bury it.
What's funny though is a independent fan named Stealth.
Yep.
Who we'll be getting to towards the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
Made a proof of concept of the first level of Green Hill Zone running on GBA hardware, with his own code, built from the ground up.
Yeah.
GBA hardware runs perfectly, identical.
Wow.
Proving that the GBA could have done it.
Yeah.
Sega just got lazy.
Yeah. I feel like they probably just somehow converted what they had into it and just didn't make any changes. They just were all right, let's see if it works.
So the rumor is apparently they tried running the game off of the Dimps' Advance engine. Mm-hmm. But Dimps' Advance engine was not designed to run the Genesis sprites and program. I don't know. That's a theory. It's not confirmed or anything.
Yeah. Sorry about that. If you just heard a beeping in the background, one of my neighbors has a large truck and it beeps when it backs into its spot. So if you heard beeping, that was it.
No, they probably didn't hear it over me ranting, but
they might have. It's pretty loud. I can hear it with the headphones on. So
I couldn't hear it, so
yeah. But the microphone is stronger, so I don't know.
True.
I just wanted to. Sorry if you heard that. Continue.
But so then another title that was released for the 15th anniversary was Sonic Riders.
The bird people. Is that the bird people?
Yes, that's the.
Was that also the introduction of Minnie Mouse, Amy?
No. That's way down the line. We're not even close there.
All right, I'm thinking too far ahead. I just thought of the bird people, and then I thought of that.
So Riders was the third attempt at a Sonic racing game. Now, some people hate Riders. I'll admit, Riders was probably the best thing to come out of the 15th anniversary.
Oh, no.
Depending on your opinion on the other game. But, Riders, it's like hoverboards, and Riders' problem is the game is too technical.
Yep.
It is such a hard game to figure out. I mean, once you figure it out, it can be pretty fun. The problem is, though, my God, it is so... The learning curve is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then the story is absolutely nonsensical. This was the beginning of some of the really cringy 4Kids writing and stuff. And
yep.
I don't blame the voice actors. Blame the scripts. My God.
No.
But
they can only do so much with what they have.
Yeah.
So even in the end, the best actors and actresses, if the script sucks, it's gonna suck.
Yeah. So yeah, Riders. A good game, hard to get into. Can't recommend it to everybody. Then the final game of the 50th anniversary, before we get into the main game, was Sonic Rivals for the PSP.
Yep.
Which was a side-scrolling racing game where you race the characters on foot through platforming stages.
Huh.
Pretty cool concept. Average game.
Yeah.
Really about all I can say about it.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, the 15th anniversary so far...
Not looking so great.
It's a mess.
Yep.
The best game in it is a very hard to get into racer.
Yep. Well.
So now the key title from the 15th anniversary.
Should I do a drum roll?
No, because it doesn't deserve a drum roll.
Oh, well, maybe like a sad...
No, it deserves the drummer passed out and knocked over the drum set.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I could do to make it loud.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother.
I could shake my piggy bank.
No. Stop.
For the money. I'm shaking it for all the people who wasted their money on the game.
No. Actually, it was a platinum hits on Xbox, but So, the next mainline Sonic game, it goes by a lot of names. The official name of the game is Sonic the Hedgehog. Just plain old Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
To differentiate it from, obviously, the original 16-bit classic and the 8-bit game,
yep,
it is most commonly referred to as either Sonic 06 or Sonic 2006, or in some cases, Sonic Next Gen.
Yep. So,
this was Sonic's debut on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3.
Yep. Not a great debut.
Well, here's the thing. Behind the scenes, the game looked promising at first. It had a demo. Well, it was basically they went back to the adventure style, like Adventure 1, where it had hub worlds and like exploration, different characters, level designs. Like, it looked at a glance basically like it was going to be Sonic Adventure 3.
Yeah.
Which is what the game should have been called, in my opinion. But besides that, there was also a demo on the Xbox 360 that was pretty promising. Like, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Now, going on from there, behind the scenes, this game was apparently a disaster.
Oh no.
It was rushed, like, for the holiday season.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
Yuji Naka, the co-creator of Sonic, he was the president of Sonic Team at that time. He actually left Sega halfway during the game's development. Like, he flat out gone.
He was just like, I can't deal with this shit.
There was no direction. It was a mess. So the game eventually releases to universally negative reviews. And where to begin? So Sonic 06, obviously, its most defining thing that makes it stand out beyond belief is its story.
Yeah.
Because the game was supposed to be actually a continuity reboot for the series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything was gonna start over here. Like, everything beforehand didn't matter anymore. They was starting off from scratch. So that's why everything kind of like when you hop into 06, nothing
feels familiar.
Well, no, it's to be fair, if you didn't know it was a reboot, you wouldn't even be able to tell.
Oh, okay.
It basically, you just hop in, and it's kind of like, okay, the characters are here, whatever, you don't need any backstory.
Yeah, you're just like, it's Sonic and Tails, and they're having an adventure.
Well, no. When you start the game...
Oh, wait, isn't it Sonic and the Princess Girl?
No, when you first start the game, you're thinking you're playing Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah, that cutscene.
It's like, it's all these human characters, like, really beautiful CGI, I'll give it credit.
Yeah.
But it's like... Who are these people?
Yeah.
What does this have to do with Sonic?
Is this a Sonic game?
Then all of a sudden stuff starts blowing up, and then Eggman shows up with this realistic... Okay, so the big thing with Sonic 06...
Oh, yeah. His character design. I need to pull it up. I need to look at it. Oh my god.
The whole idea behind Sonic 06's art design was... The idea was, what if Sonic was in the real world?
Yep.
So they made everything like hyper realistic. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Oh my god!
But
why did they give him like these giant like nipple buttons?
Because no one knows. But yeah, so everything is super hyper realistic. But all the Sonic characters just look like giant mascots running around. It doesn't work. Like, you can't make a realistic world with Sonic because they just don't mesh.
I forgot about this design. It's horrifying.
Which one?
My God. Sorry.
Okay.
It's awful.
But yeah, So, but they also tried to make all the characters seem older, so Sonic has this, like, really lanky design, and he always looks super angry in cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you play the game, and then you immediately start to see the problems the second you get into actual gameplay.
Yep.
The load times. This game loads a lot. Like, constantly loading. And,
oh, yeah.
And it's, like, not even just, like, one loading screen that takes a while. It's like anytime you go to something, like even like a 2-second cutscene takes forever to load, and it immediately goes to another load time that's equally as long. And the worst part is, I had the PS3 version where they're even worse.
Oh no!
Because I've recently started playing the 360 version just to get comparisons.
Yeah.
And it was weird how much shorter the load times were, and then I realized, wow, they're worse on everything's worse on the PS3 version.
Yeah.
But,
oh my god.
So once you finally get to play, the first thing you do is like this really basic ring tutorial where you have to jump through rings.
Yep.
The controls are... So, where Shadow the Hedgehog was like ultra loose in terms of its controls,
mm-hmm.
Sonic 06 is like ultra precise. Like you hit left and Sonic immediately turns left. It's like...
You're like...
Very, very precise. Like, so you gotta... It takes some getting used to, let's just say.
Yeah.
And you get to your first level, and the first level is a throwback to the first stage from Sonic Adventure, which is a little weird because Sonic Adventure wasn't even 10 years old at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But, so you go through the first level. The first level's okay. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, aside from being pointless.
Yeah.
Then you get to the final part of the stage where Sonic 06 introduces its new gimmick for, like, Sonic's levels, where he'll just randomly start running faster for no reason.
Yeah.
Because Sonic's normal speed in this game is really slow for some reason. Like, he just feels... Everything about this game feels slow.
Yeah.
But then you get to these high speed sections where Sonic becomes freaking uncontrollable.
Yeah. And it feels almost out of place, because, like, you're just like, oh, alright, I guess we're going fast now, woo!
Yeah. That and... This game doesn't autosave ever.
Oh, no.
So... You're most likely gonna die. If you've never played 06 before, you're most likely gonna die on the first speed section.
Yep.
And if you never saved once...
You gotta start from the beginning?
You start from the opening cutscene.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Oh, no!
No. There's a misconception that this happens regardless. If you save right before you go into Wave Ocean, the first level, you'll start at the beginning of Wave Ocean.
Okay, that's good.
The game doesn't autosave, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But anyways, I'm not going to review all of 06. It's... Aside from that, the levels... So I'll give the positives. The game's soundtrack is too good for the game.
Oh, yeah. No. I think we already kind of talked about it.
We talked about it a bit in our music podcast.
Yeah.
But I'll go into a little more. Mm-hmm. So, all the 3D games from this point, the sound director had been Jun Sonoy.
Yep.
This was the first game not to be directed by Jun Sonoy. He's still in the game because Crush 40 has a song.
Yep.
But the sound director for this game, I believe, was Tomio Otani, who's like one of the more recurring, who is going to be is one of the recurring sound directors of the modern era, which is basically established as 06 on.
Yep.
If you want to count 06. Mm-hmm. But Tomio Otani is like a phenomenal sound director because Sonic 06's soundtrack is so good. Like, it has all these orchestral rock themes. Like, everything about it is really good. Like, one of the only reasons I enjoy playing Sonic 06 is because the music is that good.
Yeah, it has some of, like, the greatest hits. Like, there was the...
His World,
World,
Dreams of an Absolution, Wave Ocean, The Inlet.
What was
Crisis
the Zebra
City.
Head song? What was the Zebra?
His World.
Oh, that was His World? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, it had some bops.
That was one. There's like 4 different versions of His World, and they're all good. There was also that Akon song for some reason.
Yeah, why not? Wasn't that on Knuckles level? Wasn't that like
no? That was Sonic's ending theme.
Oh, weird.
Oh, Knuckles is in this game for like all of like 5 minutes.
Oh, well.
You play as him twice. But anyways, the only other really decent thing I'd say about 06 is, for Sonic's levels anyways, there are some decent level designs. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the gameplay attached to them is garbage. But the level designs themselves are actually, I'll admit, they're not bad.
Yeah.
Now, and Blaze. Blaze is fun to play as. Mm-hmm. ironic. Now, as of the problems, oh my god. So, Sonic 06 is split into like 3 different stories.
Yep.
You got Sonic, Shadow, and then the new character, Silver.
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 Potleaf the Pokemon. I mean, wait, no. Potleaf the Hedgehog.
No, don't even bring that up. That's stealing from someone else. But
that's what he looks like.
he looks like Trunks, and he basically is Trunks.
Who's Trunks?
Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
His entire character.
I was thinking of like a Sonic character named Trunks.
No.
So I wasn't making that connection. I was like,
no.
There's a Trunks in this. I was like,
no.
Who's Trunks? Like,
his character is literally Trunks. He comes from the future. He comes from a destroyed future.
So Sonic is Dragon Ball.
And his hair looks like pot.
It's a pot leaf.
Alex, Sonic's been compared to Dragon Ball forever.
So Sonic is Dragon Ball. Okay, that's good to know.
Alex, Super Sonic is basically a Super Saiyan.
So does that mean Amy is Chi-Chi?
No, well, she is kind of psychotic. You're going too far into it at this point.
Well, you started it, so.
But anyways, yeah. So the game has 3 different story arcs, and Sonic's story is almost entirely pointless because it's basically a Mario storyline where Sonic is constantly trying to save this really irritating character called Princess Elise, who is entirely useless to the entire game. Which is a shame because she has the best voice actor in the freaking game. Well, it's Lacey Chabert, and like she does a great job. It's just she's playing a horrible character.
Yeah. Isn't she's whiny too? Like she's not even likable. Like you're just like, I don't really care about this girl. Like, shut up, stop whining.
She tries to commit suicide in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
And then Sonic just happens to catch her. It's like she didn't. Yeah, it's.
She's not super likable.
Sonic's story is really bad. There's
also
so many...
the scene.
That's not in Sonic's story. That's in the final story.
I'm not going to say what it is, but it's the scene.
So now, Shadow's story is the most important to the plot because it has to do with the main villain of the game.
Isn't it like an anti-Shadow? Like it's a shadow, but it doesn't have a mouth?
It's a character called Mephiles, and he basically takes the form of Shadow.
Yeah, he looks like Shadow, and he doesn't have a mouth.
He looks like Shadow because he steals Shadow's shadow.
Yeah.
Shadow.
He looks like Shadow.
It makes sense in context. And
I just remember he didn't have a mouth. Like they didn't put a mouth on him, and it was weird.
And then Silver's story is sort of relevant. It explains why the future shit, and like it explains a bit more about the plot. But Silver's an irritating character to play, as we'll get into.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the multiple characters, though, is each one is the 3 main characters are to play as, but then there's also each character has the like buddy characters that'll pop in during gameplay occasionally, and they're all terrible.
Yep.
Except
they're not
for
fun
Blaze.
to play it. Yeah, besides Blaze.
Also, half of them are faster than Sonic.
I know Knuckles was one, Tails was one.
Knuckles and Tails are both actually slower.
Well, no, they were buddy characters, right?
Well, yeah, they were the buddy characters, but they're slower than Sonic.
Yeah.
Some of the characters are faster than Sonic, though. Like, E123 Omega is faster than Sonic. The robot is faster than Sonic.
Yep.
Blaze is faster than Sonic. Those 2 I know in particular. Also, like, Knuckles and Rouge get stuck to walls because of bad programming.
Yep.
It's all bad. Like, all bad.
Was Amy a playable character, or was she just, like, running around?
No, she's playable, too, and she's bad. Like, she's one of the worst.
Whose storyline was she? Wasn't she a part of Silver's storyline?
Yeah, she was hanging out with Silver at one point, because Amy mistakes Silver for Sonic, because she's got to keep doing that. This whole game's... I don't want to get too into it. This game's whole story is crap.
Yeah, it's garbage. It's hot garbage.
It ends up being similar to Adventure, where it all culminates in like one final story where Sonic dies.
Yeah. Sonic dies.
I'm not even going to call a spoiler warning because it's everyone knows everything about 06 at this point, but
Yep.
Sonic straight up dies, and then you have to do a mission basically to get all the Chaos Emeralds to bring him back, and then the way to bring him back is Princess Elise has to kiss him, and it's like, why is this in a Sonic game?
Sorry.
Why is it in a Sonic game? Blah, blah, blah.
Who thought that was a good idea? Like, no,
Alex,
that's not a
there
good
was
idea.
Alex, there was no direction at Sega at the time.
Oh my god, it shows, because that was a bad... Also because, like, I don't know, like, it's just weird that, like, she has a crush on a fucking hedgehog. Like, that's
Alex,
weird.
Alex, this is the Sonic fan base.
Oh, I know, I get it, but...
Everything about this fan base is weird.
Well, I did not want to see them. I did not want to see them smacking lips. I didn't want to see it.
No. I want to bring up the Sonic shorts for a minute. I don't know what's weirder, the fact that she kissed a hedgehog or a corpse.
Yeah. That's also.
Yeah.
That's also. We're not. What's the one? What's the thing where it's
necrophilia.
like? No, it's necrophilia. But what's the animal one called?
I don't know.
Isn't
I'm
it
not
like
looking it up. I don't know.
I don't want to Google
It's not important. Anyways, Sonic comes back. Sonic comes back, and it's another Super Sonic fight because that's just what the series does at this point.
Yep, and they all turn yellow.
No, yeah, but besides that, then you obviously... To the final smack in the face to this game, the final cutscene is Sonic and Elise. And Elise has the ability to blow out the candle and get rid of this thing that's been a terror in her life for all of her life.
Yep.
And she's all like, I don't care about the future. I want to be with Sonic. And it's like, oh.
And he's just like, fuck off. Get away from me, you weirdo.
No, he's like in the Jason Griffith voice, just smile. Or something stupid. Or some shit like that. Oh.
Just
yeah, and then
smile.
Basically,
Sonic
the reason why 06...
They should have ended it how the Sonic says. I would have appreciated.
But anyways, the reason why Sonic... I don't consider Sonic 06 a reboot is because literally the Sonic 06 ends with basically the entire game basically just gets...
erased.
Yeah, decanonized with the conclusion like it never happened.
Which is good. No.
So it's basically, as far as I'm concerned, 06 never happened, and the series just kind of went on.
Yep.
So yeah, 06 basically was the lowest point the series would get.
Yes.
In my opinion.
I feel
now,
like...
admittedly, I think 06 is really fun to play, just because of how broken it is.
That's what I think I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up the glitches.
Yes. 06 is one of those games that it's so broken, it's actually fun to play just to see how much you can break this thing.
See,
like,
well, I'm on the Sonic, you know how, like, there's those fandom pages? I'm on the Sonic fan page for, Sonic 06, and there is a whole section just dedicated to glitches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can just randomly kick rocks in the snow level and just get launched into the moon.
To the moon!
I don't want to keep bringing up that channel, but,
Well.
Yeah, but, yeah, the game's a mess. But anyways, yeah, the series would hit its all-time low, and basically Sega... So, believe it or not, Sega actually apparently fired their testing, department.
Oh, really? Because of this game? Or...
No, they fired them before the game came out.
Oh,
which
no.
Which immediately lets you know something was up.
Oh, no.
But yeah.
Well, no wonder this game was bad. No one tested it.
No, they probably tested it. I guarantee you, they tested it and were like, this game is not ready. It's crap.
Yeah.
And Sega fired them, probably.
Yeah. Or they probably said, it's not ready, it's crap. And Sega said, well, it's Christmas, so we're releasing it anyways.
Now, it's ironic because this game actually sold well enough to get, a platinum release on Xbox 360.
But it wasn't good.
No. But after that, then the series just... You hit rock bottom. Where are you going to go from here? Fun fact. This game was actually initially planned for the Wii.
Oh, it was?
Yes. So
the
here's
Wii
another.
said no, thank you.
No. So it gets fun from here. So what happened was they actually split the '06 team in half, with one part of the team working on the Wii port, and the other half working on the 360 and PS3 port.
Yep.
Now, the fun fact is the more experienced director went to work on the Wii port. The less experienced director stayed to work on the console port. You can already see this where problems are.
Oh, no.
So development's going through, and eventually the team basically figures out the Wii's not going to be able to do Sonic 06.
Yeah.
There's no way they could get it to run on the Wii.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
So, basically, they took what they had done and repurposed it into Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Ah!
Which, at the time, was a significantly better game.
Yep.
It hasn't aged well.
No.
Not at all.
Nope.
But
Hot garbage.
it was actually the first game in the Sonic storybook series, which was basically... They were kind of like spin-offs that kind of based Sonic off of like storybook settings.
Yep.
So the first one was Secret Rings, where he was in the Arabian Nights.
Yep.
And basically, all the Sonic regulars basically play like characters from the Arabian Nights universe. Mm-hmm. Like even Eggman is like a one-off character.
Yep.
But the whole gimmick with Secret Rings is basically it's an on-rail Sonic game, where we kind of talked about this in our Wii episode. Basically, you use the Wii mode on its side to move Sonic left and right on like these on-rail sections. You move it forward and back to make him either run fast or slow down.
Yep.
And you have to swing the remote up to make him jump.
Oh, interesting.
You can already see where this is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So, the game, from a level design and like structure point, I don't think is that bad. Like, I like the setting. The graphics are great for Wii standards.
Yeah.
The problem is the controls are just
crap.
Garbage.
Yep.
Like, and the story's okay. I kind of like the whole, it's kind of a nonsense kind of world. Even though some of the acting's kind of cringe. And it actually has a pretty cool soundtrack too, because it's like all Arabian themed.
Yep.
And it also gave us the whole Seven Rings in Hand song.
Yep.
You know, make the least reborn. You know that song.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You get very sick of that very fast after playing the game because you hear it every 5 seconds. But
Yep.
so Secret Rings actually was fairly well received when it came out. It also came with this hilariously awful party mode.
Yep.
That was basically Mario Party but ass.
Oh no.
It was even worse than Sonic Shuffle.
Oh no.
If that's possible.
Oh no.
But yeah.
Oh shit.
So,
I almost fell off my chair.
So other than that, though, then you had, I believe the Sonic Rush sequel came out after Secret Rings, and I believe it was Sonic Rush Adventure, which was basically just, it was more Rush, only this time it took place in Blaze's world, because Blaze's character got screwed up by '06 pretty hard.
Yep.
In her game, she's from an alternate dimension. In '06, she was from the future, but that never happened, so I disregard that.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
Well, it literally never happened. So,
yeah.
So, Rush Adventure is pretty good. The problem with Rush Adventure, though, was it was very repetitive because you had to kind of... Basically, because it was more of an adventure-oriented game, you kind of had to, like, backtrack and, like, replay levels to gather supplies.
Yep.
And, I mean, it's not a bad game, but it also it continued to make it very apparent Dimps was kind of weak when it came to level design.
Yep. And
following Rush Adventure, that Rush Adventure would actually be the final original Sonic handheld game. Because after that, then Sega would basically just have them do handheld tie-ins to all their main series games.
Oh, okay.
But around the time Rush Adventure came out, the next console game gets announced.
Yep.
And at first, it looks very promising. Because all we see is these daytime stage levels.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's Sonic running really fast. Well, actually, I'll lie, because the first trailer we saw was the Gold Ring trailer, where it's like the gold ring and it's Sonic's hand. And all of a sudden, this claw comes and like smashes the ring.
Yep,
And
I know what you're talking about.
It's like, okay,
That was interesting.
I'm fascinated.
Let's move on.
But then eventually we get to see these Sonic stages, and Sonic's running really fast. The graphics looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and
like,
you're just like,
super
yeah,
high
it's
speed,
Sonic.
3D platforming. It looks good.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I like where this is going.
Yep.
And then we see what that claw was all about.
Yep.
So the next Sonic game was Sonic Unleashed. And Unleashed...
Sorry.
So...
Stupid.
In Japan, Sonic Unleashed was originally supposed to be Sonic Adventure 3.
Oh. What?
But then it... Yeah, that was it. At one point it was going to be Sonic Adventure 3.
I'm glad it didn't end up... Well, maybe that was before the Werehog was... Oh, was that not...
No. It was always going to... The Werehog was always in.
Oh.
Now, eventually the name... In Japan, the name eventually changed to Sonic World Adventure. That's the name of the game in Japan. We got Sonic Unleashed.
I think that fits it better.
Yeah, I mean, it fits the theme of the game more for us.
Yeah.
So, basically, Sega did a full-on reset after 06.
Yep.
They
were just
got
like, we done messed up, we gotta work, we gotta damage control.
They hit their lowest point, and, like, basically, they finally, like, okay, we have to actually put effort into one of these things.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Sega still had an issue with... They don't know when to stop sometimes.
Yeah.
So, the whole gimmick with Sonic 06 is Sonic gets like, this, like, dark werewolf form, basically. Called the Werehog.
Yep.
And basically, during the day, he's Sonic, he's super fast.
Yep.
High-speed platforming.
Yep.
What the series is known for.
Yeah.
During the night, he becomes the Werehog, where he's slower and his gameplay is more beat-em-up focused.
Yep.
So I'll say right now, Unleashed is probably the most polished Sonic game ever made.
Oh, really?
Like, it is very well made.
Yeah.
Like, they put their time. Like, the game runs off its own custom, like, graphics engine called the Hedgehog engine.
Wow.
And the game looks phenomenal. Like, Sonic's proportions. Basically, they did the opposite of 06, where rather than making everything realistic, they made everything cartoony. Like, it looks like a Pixar film.
Yeah. But it works better.
Yeah, it fits Sonic's universe.
Yeah.
But, and this is also, in my opinion, like, the peak where the 4Kids voice casts finally, like, hit their stride.
Yeah, they really got into their roles.
They figured it out. The script was better. But, so Unleashed introduced a gameplay style that would become very important in the series called the boost formula, where they basically took the boost gameplay from Sonic Rush and put it into the 3D games, where you basically gather up rings to get boost energy to go basically as fast as you can through the stages. And what made the stages cool was they would switch from 3D to 2D, bringing back kind of a throwback to the classics. And they had like these very high-paced, like kind of like reaction-based stuff, like those quick-time events. Very fun to play.
Yep.
Now, the Werehog, before I trash it, I'll give it credit. It plays fine. Like, it's very well made.
Yep.
I don't have any problems with how it controls. Like,
it's just not fun.
I mean, it's not even that it's not fun. It's just...
boring and repetitive?
There's too much of it. That's the problem.
No, because I remember, I played this one. I actually remember playing it, because you let me borrow it. And I remember, like, I really liked the daytime levels, but, like, I would get bored in the nighttime levels, because they just sort of, like, I just, like, it took forever.
It's not really a problem that even, like, the stages take forever. The problem was Sonic Unleashed has a really weird kind of gatekeeping design to it, where you need to collect these medals, because they were trying to keep the adventure elements, because it brought back, like, hub worlds.
Yep.
They're very small, and they're not too big like 06 had.
Yep.
Like, they're not bad. I like the hub worlds in Unleashed. The problem is, though, to unlock stages, you need to collect these medals.
Yep.
And a lot of the times you'll get, like, roadblocked because you don't have enough medals. And the problem is, most of the medals you need to unlock night medals for night stages, you find them in the day stages. And to find day medals, you have to play the night stages. So you got to basically scour these night stages to find these medals just to get ahead, to get unlocked stuff. And some of the... That's the problem with Unleashed, is you feel roadblocked at times, and you have to keep playing the Hedgehog stages, which... They take so long. I mean, one playthrough's not bad. I'll admit that.
But when you have to go back and play it again, you're just
when you have to keep playing them, and unless you have that's why I say use a guide.
Yeah.
So obviously, the reason why they did this is because they didn't want the game to be over in like an hour.
Yep.
Because the Sonic stages, as fun as they are, they're very quick.
Yep.
Which is a shame because they're so fun to play. Now, besides that, Unleashed has a great story, though. It's very, simple. It's not over the top. It's not ridiculous like 06 got.
Didn't it have the little, guy who was named Chip or something?
Chip, yeah. Chip. I like Chip. He was good. He's a fun little side character.
Yeah.
Not too annoying, but not too bland.
Yeah.
Did
he like cookies?
He liked chocolate.
Yeah, he liked chocolate.
He likes food.
Yeah.
But, so a big key thing with Unleashed was Sega basically wanted to go back to basics. Mm-hmm. No more side characters, just Sonic. Yep. Unfortunately, though, they also, to get around that, they made the Hedgehog as a technical side character. You know, I have a theory, because originally Shadow and Knuckles were supposedly going to be playable at one point.
Oh.
If Knuckles was the Hedgehog stages, I feel like people wouldn't be as upset.
Yeah. No, it actually makes more sense to me that it...
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Also... Sega...
Sorry, I also just remembered something about the Hedgehog. Didn't he, have stretchy arms, too? So wasn't he basically just Luffy?
He was a lot of things.
He ate a devil fruit.
He was a lot of things.
Sorry, I had to bring up One Piece at some point. I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Alright, you can continue. I just needed to say that.
So, not to dwell on Unleashed for too long, but it was the second game to bring Tomio Otani in as sound director.
Yep.
And oh my god, Unleashed soundtrack is so good. Like every stage is, all the day stages are super high energy and fun to play, are wicked, get you into it. And then the night stages, aside from the battle theme, which gets repetitive after 2 stages, because it plays every time you get an enemy encounter.
Oh no.
The actual night music is like this catchy jazz music, and it's so fun.
Oh, that's cool.
The main theme, Endless Possibilities. They got the Bowling for Soup singer Jared Reddick to sing vocals.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so high energy. Unleashed is weird because it's not a bad game. It's just so flawed. Mm-hmm. And comparing it to 06, Unleashed got trashed in reviews, but in my opinion, Unleashed is miles better than 06. It's miles better than Shadow.
Oh yeah.
Miles better than Heroes. Probably on par with Adventure 2 Actually, it's probably better than Adventure 2. That's controversial, I know, but in terms of actual quality, it is one of the most well-made Sonic games ever.
Yep.
And so, following that game's release, the big general consensus was, make a game that's just day stages.
Yes.
Just day stages.
Yep.
And Sega would do that. But not before they take one last diversion. But before that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Woo!
And we're back.
We're back.
Just tell them about your iced tea, because you're so happy about it.
Well, I finished my water, and I have iced tea in my fridge, but I only have a little sliver left, and I don't want to put it in a glass, so I'm just going to drink it straight from the jug.
Good for you. I'm glad we're not a video podcast, because I don't want to...
I wish we were in moments like
I don't
this.
I don't want to give the viewers that pleasure. But, anyways, so, following Unleashed,
Ow!
we'd actually...
Sorry, I banged my elbow on the table.
Oh. I thought you hurt yourself drinking iced tea for a minute there.
No! Well, I was putting the iced tea jug on my little table next to me, and when I did, I just banged my elbow into the table. Alright,
Okay.
I'm sorry for being so chaotic. Anyways,
so, following Unleashed, before we get to what I call the resurgence of Sonic, there was a couple games that came out before then.
Yep.
One of them being Sonic and the Black Knight, which was the second game in the storybook series, and the second major game for the Wii.
Yep.
Now, rather than being based off the Arabian Nights, Black Knight was
King
instead
Arthur?
based off of like King Arthur and Camelot and that whole era.
Yep.
And so this game immediately was negatively looked at just for one reason.
Because it was a storybook game?
No, because Sonic had a sword.
Ah!
And it was
But
like
it's King Arthur! It's like the sword
I
and
know,
the stone.
but this is the Sonic fan base. They complain
Yeah,
when
true.
his eyes change colors.
True. Or when he's in a
complain-
car.
If he's not the right shade of blue, they're gonna lose their mind.
Yep.
That's just how this series goes.
Yep, that's the fan
But-
base.
Yeah. But anyways, so Sonic and the Black Knight is interesting because it's superior to Secret Rings in every way, in my opinion.
Yep.
For starters, they let you use the nunchuck,
Ah, that's
which,
nice.
which immediately makes the gameplay 10 times better. Now, the only problem with Black Knight is the sword gameplay is not bad. I really don't have a problem with that. The problem is, though, it's a waggle fest.
Yeah.
You're flailing a lot of Wiimotes around, and which is predictable for a Wii game.
Yep.
But aside from that, graphically it looks amazing. The story is great. Like this right here is the peak of this era of Sonic, in my opinion. Like before his like resurgence.
Yep.
Like this was probably one of the best stories.
Yeah.
Like this was also the writer who was kind of like in charge of a lot of the Sonic games from this period. This was his final game. This was the final performance from the 4Kids voice actors.
Yeah.
Like official performance. I don't count like reusing their audio for like a racing game later.
Yeah.
But and this is Jason Griffith's best performance as Sonic. Like I actually, as much as I like his successor, we'll get into later, I really like Jason Griffith's performance here.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, so another great thing, the music. Jin Sonoy came back. So
Oh, yep.
This game gave us 5 Crush 40 songs.
Oh, damn.
Actually, I think 6.
Oh, damn.
Crush 40 was everywhere. Like so many like artists. Like he got like Tommy Tallarico in there. He got Howard Drossen, one of the guys from the Genesis days back.
Wow.
All adding, contributing. Like all of these great Sega like composers and stuff. Like, everything about this game is so good, except for basically what holds this game back is the sword gameplay, and it's not even that bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's still on rails, so you have that problem. But the story is really mature. Like, there's like a lot of really deep psychological, like kind of like thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
and it's all. I think it all gets kind of settled with the final, like the ending theme song, "Live Life" by Crush 40, which is basically a song that basically is like the whole theme is, you know, we're all gonna die someday, so you got to live your life to the fullest.
Yep. Nice.
Like it's a really strong message for a Sonic game. But it's cool too because you get all the Sonic like characters are like playing characters from like the medieval, like, well, not medieval,
From the story.
the Arthurian legend. Like you got Lancelot is Shadow because of course it is. The Lady of the Lake is Amy.
Yep.
Like I forget who Knuckles was, even though Knuckles tries to kill himself at one point in
Oh.
the game.
What
like
is with
so
Sonic characters and killing themselves? Oh my god!
Well, they're playing off the whole Arthurian thing because you defeat him in battle and then he decides to take his own life. And Sonic's like,
No,
stop
no,
being
no."
dramatic. Sonic's all like, stop being dramatic, you idiot. And then it's like,
Stay in school!
it's funny though because it's actually one of the few games that Eggman doesn't appear in at all.
Huh.
But I mean, aside from that, like, so what's weird about the storybook series? Secret Rings not really well received nowadays, but it sold really well.
Yep.
Black Knight, generally better received, sold terribly,
Oh.
and it basically killed the storybook series because there was a
Aw.
third one planned,
Yep.
supposedly.
But they canceled it, because...
Yeah, but it got canceled, of course, and And then following its release, Sega actually delisted every Sonic game that had like a lower than like a negative reception. So Unleashed got delisted, 06 got delisted.
What does
Black Knight.
delisted mean? Sorry. Like, what does that mean?
Basically, they took them off the stores. Basically, they stopped like reprinting them. Basically,
So basically, they tried to get rid of them.
They tried to make their brand look better, basically,
Yeah.
even though this is the Sonic fan base and the fans don't forget.
Yeah, they never forget.
Now, one last title before we get into the resurgence was a game called Sonic Chronicles for the Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
Sonic Chronicles, I'm not going to get too into it just because I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Basically, it was Sonic's attempt at an RPG. Because, Mario had his Mario RPGs that were really well received.
Yep.
So they tried to do Sonic in an RPG. And they got BioWare, of all developers, to make it. Granted, it was like BioWare's C-Team.
Yeah. But it was still BioWare,
BioWare, the Mass Effect guys,
Yep.
Baldur's Gate,
Yep.
Knights of the Old Republic, Sonic. But, so... Chronicles is just... The story's...
Yep.
The gameplay is boring. Like, the combat's irritating to get through.
Yeah.
You can break it in half if you know what you're doing. Like, it's... the music's horrendous. Like, it's a Sonic game with bad music. That's already a bad sign.
Like, at least if, like, it's gonna be bad, at least the music should be good. Ugh.
Yeah, but the worst part is... The music director for Chronicles was Richard Jacques, who's done Sonic games before.
Oh, weird.
He did Sonic R.
Wait, is that the one with the super
Yeah, Can You Feel the Sun?
Sonic?
Yeah. He did Sonic R and he did 3D Blast. And he did a couple tracks for Black Knight.
Huh.
I don't know.
Maybe he just wasn't into the game and was just like, eh. Like, or he had
don't
other
know.
projects he was doing and just was like...
Maybe he was too lazy to get... Maybe he was too lazy to figure out the DS's sound card. I don't know.
Yeah, could have been a lot.
But yeah, and the only thing I'll give Chronicles is it has great dialogue because it's like BioWare's dialogue tree setups.
Yep.
And you can make Sonic an absolute dick in this game. Oh, it actually kind of like steals a lot of themes from the Sonic Archie comics.
Yep. Oh, that's funny.
Which actually caused a lawsuit in like this massive lawsuit
Oh.
I'm not going to get into the Sonic Archie lawsuit, but look it up sometime, people. It's a trip.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so Chronicles was kind of a disaster, and it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yep.
And it's pretty much been confirmed it's never going to get a sequel.
Yep.
Honestly, I'd like to see them try a Sonic RPG again.
Yeah.
But get a better developer.
Yeah.
Get a developer who actually will give a crap. That's all I can say.
Yeah. No. I feel like it probably was just a bad timing and not a good choice. They made some bad decisions.
Yeah. Now, following Unleashed and Black Knight, Sega's like, okay, gung-ho, like, we're going to save this series. We're going to fix the problems.
Yep.
We finally understand. So, the first game they announce is, they basically announced a project called, at the time it was like codename Project Needle Mouse. And all they show is this just kind of title screen, like just a silhouette that looks like the classic Sonic emblem.
Yeah.
Although some people thought it was a Pikachu in a sombrero. I don't know. But yeah, we get that, and we're like, okay, what is Project Needle Mouse? And then it goes on for a while, and then finally we get a reveal trailer. And it's like, it just all of a sudden shows Sonic 1991, Sonic running his classic sprite. 1992, the Sonic 2 sprite. 94, the Sonic 3 sprite. It keeps evolving. And all of a sudden, it evolves into a 3D sprite running sideways, collecting rings, doing like classic Sonic looking things. And it starts all of a sudden, you get like this like, almost like New Super Mario Bros. Style graphics of like a Green Hill looking level. And then it shows the title screen. Sonic 4. Episode 1.
Yep.
And it's like, wow, it's a retro revival.
Woo!
And at first, it was cool.
Yeah.
So the hype for that was massive because, of course, everyone was like, oh, at that point, people were so burned out with Sega, they were like, ooh, classics, yay.
Yeah.
And then, out of nowhere, as the hype for that was building, we also get this trailer for a Wii exclusive. And it's going to be the next mainline game of all things. Like,
huh.
And a lot of people were kind of like, at first I remember everyone thinking, why the Wii?
Why the Wii?
And it's got this really high energy, like, Europop sounding, like, well, not really Europop, I don't think it's a European band, but it's like this really, like, electronic pop music, and then it's just Sonic colors, and it's a CG thing, there's no gameplay yet, and we're like, huh.
Yep.
So, okay, they're making a 3D game alongside Sonic 4.
Alright,
okay,
sounds
so they're
cool.
gonna... So this is for... So a lot of fans at the time were kind of like, okay, cool, Sonic 4, that's for the hardcore fans that have been wanting this for years, and then, okay, there's another 3D game that they're gonna probably screw up.
Yep.
This is
At
how
least
it felt
we have
at the
something
time.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Sonic 4 eventually comes out, the first part, because they were doing it episodically.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately the fan base erupts because why is it the modern design? Why is it this? It's just retreads of all classic levels. Dimps made it, and they used the Rush engine.
Yeah.
So it doesn't play anything like the classics.
Ah.
Which you can already see where this is going.
Yep.
But the game was well received, and you know what? At the time, it was fun. It was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it was a nice change.
Granted, I'll admit, it wasn't as great as Sonic 3.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I liked it for what it was. I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
It wasn't
it's
Sonic 06.
It was a cheap little downloadable game.
Yeah.
Little throwback. So then, aside from that, during this point, we also get the trailer. We finally get gameplay trailer for Sonic Colors.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I remember because everyone was like, oh, it's going to be on the Wii. They can't use the Hedgehog engine. It's not going to look nearly as good.
Yep.
We get the first trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally nothing but day stages from Sonic Unleashed.
Yep.
It's exactly what everyone asked for.
It was what the fans wanted.
It is. But then this was also around the point where we also got the reveal of Sega's hiring new voice actors. Like, they fired the entire 4Kids cast.
Well,
except for Mike Pollock.
Yep.
As Eggman. And yeah, so then it became kind of like a thing where everyone was like, what are they going to sound like? Because, the spoiler warning, the guy they picked for Sonic was Roger Craig Smith.
Yep.
Who at that point was most well known for doing a couple anime roles. Well, he did a bunch of anime. Mm-hmm. And he was in gaming world, he was most notable for Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2
mm-hmm.
and Chris Redfield from Resident Evil.
Nice.
Sonic. And okay, so the first game that they actually recorded was Colors.
Yep.
But not that wasn't the first game that was released. So we actually kind of skipped over it, but around this point the Riders series, Riders actually got sequels. Mm-hmm. There was one on the Wii and PS2 called Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. It was basically a continuation of Riders, but they took away a lot of the technical shit and made it a bit easier to play.
Yep.
And they had tried to put motion controls on the Wii version. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Not as memorable as the first one, in my opinion, but not as hard. It exists.
Yeah, it's there.
So then they made a third one.
Yep.
And this was after they did Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, which was an excellent, like, Mario Kart clone, basically.
Yep.
We don't need to get too into that. It's a really good kart racer.
Yep.
So then they did another Riders game as an exclusive for the Microsoft Xbox 360 Kinect.
Oh, boy.
The game's an utter train wreck. Like,
oh, boy.
There's no reason to
As soon as I heard Kinect, I was like, oh no.
There's no reason to play it.
No.
But the thing that most people remember this game for was it was the introduction of the new voice cast. And
yep.
My God, is it rough.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone sounds really off. Amy sounds like Minnie Mouse, which
yep.
nothing against, I think it's Cindy Robertson is the voice actress.
But she didn't have it together at that point.
No, that wasn't even her. That was the direction Sega gave.
Oh, Minnie Mouse.
Yes.
Interesting.
It wasn't good.
Nope.
I was so used to Lisa Ortiz at that point that like this voice was jarring.
You were like, whoa.
Shadow sounded really weird. Like a lot of them were just impersonal. Like Travis Willingham as Knuckles was basically just doing Dan Green. Like
yeah.
Tails sounded great. Kate Higgins was Tails at the time.
Yeah.
Probably most famous as Sakura from Naruto.
Oh, that's funny.
But she did a really good job because Tails actually sounded like a boy for once.
Yep.
And then Roger Craig Smith as Sonic, in Free Riders, kind of
Yeah.
but he grew into the role. Like he sounded older and more snarky. I liked Roger Craig Smith's Sonic.
Yep.
But enough about Free Riders. It's it's interesting. It's a thing.
Yep. It's a
Let's
shitty
move on
thing.
to colors. So colors. Colors looks phenomenal for a Wii game. Like,
Oh yeah.
Colors looks better than 06.
Yep.
Which not that hard to do, but looks great. Uses the same engine that powered the two storybook games.
Mhm.
And it plays just like the day stages from Unleashed.
Wow.
Although what they did brilliantly was they incorporated a new element called wisps,
Yep.
which were essentially power-ups for Sonic, and they kind of downplayed the boost mechanic, so it's there, but it's not as important.
Yeah.
And they put more of an emphasis on platforming, although the majority of the game this time is admittedly from a 2D perspective.
Yep.
The 3D they kind of pushed away.
Mhm.
But overall the game is very fun. A bunch of levels, all really good, great story. This was the first game that introduced the new writers,
Yep.
who I believe they previously did writing for the game Mad World, and I think they also did Happy Tree Friends, of all things.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's
But they
funny.
did good. I mean, it's kind of cringy at times, it's kind of childish, but
But they kept it simple. Like, they
It
weren't
was simple.
trying to make this big story. They were trying to keep it... It's a video game. Give it a little story that can be kept up the whole time. Because wasn't
it's
it
not
about,
the
like, a theme park? Like, it was about a theme park.
yeah. Eggman creates an interstellar
Yeah.
amusement park above the Earth. As a apology for all his past transgressions. Yeah, we can clearly see the bullshit there. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very simple story. All the levels are super diverse.
Yep.
Everything is exactly what you want. Like, just Sonic. Everything's extremely fun to play. The story is not too crazy. You get to play as Super Sonic in regular levels in a 3D game.
Yeah.
Like, everything that everybody asked for. They finally did. They listened. The soundtrack is great. I'm not sure if Tomio Otani actually was the director. He was involved. I think it might have been a different guy, but the soundtrack for Colors is phenomenal. Everything about this game is great. Levels, diverse, like, selection of everything. Fun to play. They did it. They finally did it.
They gave the fans what they wanted.
It was like a 1-2 there, and like Sonic was good again.
Yeah.
So where are we gonna go from here? Well, it's Sonic's 20th anniversary coming up.
Oh.
So the 20th anniversary was interesting because during the hype like lead up to it, we got a lot of kind of pre-release stuff, kind of like there was a rumor that it was going to be like Sonic, the boost gameplay going through classic stages in kind of like a retread kind of thing, which sounded intriguing, I'll give it that. So eventually then we get the first trailer, which is Sonic running through this like white world. Like it's all CG, there's no actual gameplay yet.
Yeah.
And he's running through this like white world with like Green Hill Zone kind of like set pieces. And then all of a sudden, classic Sonic appears.
Yep.
And it's like Sonic Generations. And the whole gimmick is like, okay, this is a throwback to Sonic's history.
Yeah.
Like we're going to talk about everything about the series, both good and bad.
Yep.
So, the hype, let's just say the hype for Generations was unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Then we get the first trailer.
Yep.
And this trailer was brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Because
the marketing,
showed,
whoever did the marketing for this game should have been paid a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because they really honestly helped really save the Sonic franchise. Like, this game was...
Oh, yeah.
They knew how to market it. It was marketed very well.
First trailer shows classic Sonic, side-scrolling in a 3D HD Green Hill Zone, like side-scrolling.
Yep.
And physically, it looks like it plays like the Genesis games for the most part.
Yep.
Like, he's got that rolling physics and, like, jumping and stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. And then they show modern Sonic. He's running through Green Hill Zone in 3D.
Yep.
So it's like you get... So that was... They established right away. The gimmick was modern Sonic would play through the levels in 3D.
Yep.
In, like, HD. And then classic Sonic would do it side-scrolling. So it was like, okay, that's cool. And then... We wait again, and then we get the next trailer.
Yep.
Which was City Escape.
Yep.
So when we get City Escape and they show off that, and then the final trailer was the modern era where they showed off... I think they actually showed off Crisis City from 06.
Yep.
So the whole gimmick was it was split between 3 eras. The classic era, the Dreamcast era, and then the modern era.
Yep.
3 games each, and with a classic and modern version of each stage.
Yep.
So this game looked awesome.
Yeah.
And it finally comes out. Well, actually, the hype for it was great because there was 2 demos. There was a demo of classic Sonic's Green Hill Act 1, and then a second demo of modern Sonic Green Hill Act 1.
Yep.
Also, one of the trailers used My Chemical Romance for background music.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say... Oh, I was also going to bring up one of the trailers brought up the remixes to the soundtracks, and that was another really good marketing because
Well, I'll get to that.
that was awesome.
When we get to the stages. I always remember that one of them had like because this was before My Chemical Romance broke up, and right around when Danger Days came out. So one of the trailers was literally na 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 na. It was like no lyrics, but it was just the instrumentals. But
Yep.
it was funny. But anyways, so the game finally comes out. Story's pretty basic. It's just Sonic gets sucked into this like dimension, and it's like why it's like all of a sudden just like why is it like it's like
Yeah.
Sonic gets sucked in basically everything gets sucked in by this like interdimensional like monster of the week basically.
But
And
honestly,
the whole
it worked. Like, it really, like, for what the game was supposed to be, like, it worked. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
overcomplicate it, and they didn't make it, like, too much, you know?
Yeah, but basically you go from like stage to stage. So you go through the classic era first, and every stage, like everything is a love letter to Sonic. Like
Oh, yeah.
every stage has a classic remix and then a modern remix. Like the classic stages kind of go for a more like like some of the obviously for the Genesis era they kind of go for like a Genesis rendition, but then the modern remixes have like these like full orchestral like guitars and stuff.
Yep.
And it's cool because it's like you're playing these classic stages in 3D, and it's super high speed, the classic boost formula, and classic Sonic plays pretty much like he did in the old days.
Yep.
And then the boss fights, like you fight Metal Sonic from Sonic CD, you fight the Eggman robot from Sonic 2, then you go to the modern era, City Escape, Speed Highway, the Ocean stage from Heroes. Hell, they made Crisis City from 06 fun.
Yeah.
You had Rooftop Run from Unleashed, and then you had an HD version of Planet Wisp from Colors.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they made the Silver boss fight fun because he's the boss fight. You had a Shadow boss fight, which was epic. Everything about Generations was phenomenal. Like, great 3D level design, a perfect mix of 2D and 3D, great controls.
Music, great.
Literally, music phenomenal. Like Jun Sonoy kind of like directed everything, but what was cool is he actually brought all the composers that still worked at Sega that he could get. He brought them back to handle the remixes for their songs.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome.
It was great.
Yeah.
Hell, he even got back Tony Harnell and Ted Poley for City Escape
Oh, that's awesome.
to re-record their vocals.
Wow.
Oh, and it brings up songs from almost every game in the series. Like, even Knuckles Chaotix has a song.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Door into Summer gets remixed, and it's great. Sega was riding a high at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
they had a great idea, and they didn't burn it to the ground. They actually made it work.
yeah, I mean, basically, all Sega had to do from here on out was just keep doing what they were doing.
Yeah. And did they do that? No.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Because after this game came out... Oh yeah, there was also handheld versions of both Generations and Colors that were made by Dimps.
Yeah.
They're okay. The Colors one is basically just Sonic Rush 3.
Yep.
And then Generations was... It was basically a handheld version of Generations with different stages. They're both fine.
Yeah.
Harmless games. So then the next game to release was Sonic 4 Episode 2.
Yep.
And so they tried with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they tried to make it seem more original. They tried to make the controls better.
Yep.
Problem is, nobody bit.
No.
And the game ended up selling worse than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up basically on an unresolved cliffhanger, and we never got a third part.
Oh.
So the Sonic 4 ended up being probably a failure in every way.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say. I didn't think they either were that bad, but it's Sega. What are you gonna do? So after Sonic 4, the producer for the Sonic series, Takashi Tezuka, or Takashi Iizuka, I think, whatever his name is, he basically made a statement that, well, we love the boost formula, we're going to try something different for the next Sonic game.
Yep.
And they did.
Yep.
So, the next Sonic game was released as part of... So, Sega signed a 3-game exclusivity deal with Nintendo to release Sonic games exclusively for the Wii U.
Yep.
Which was struggling at the time and needed games.
Yeah.
So the first of these 3 games was Sonic Lost World.
Yep.
Oh, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Lost World. So the first trailer we see for Lost World has these weird, like, tube-like levels and, like, kind of like... It looked like a Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it reminded you of Mario Galaxy. Like, Sonic's take on Mario Galaxy. I like how your hand is still in the air.
Yeah. It kind of looked like a cross between Mario Galaxy and the canceled Sonic Extreme, which they claim they had no influence on it, but who knows? We'll never know. It's Sega. But the other big gimmick for the game was parkour. Like, there was going to be a parkour system.
Yep.
So, the game eventually comes out, and right off the bat, this game leeches off nostalgia more than Generations did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's, like, classic, like, robots and badniks everywhere, old style springs, the enemy capsules.
Yep.
It's like, this game is trying to be more nostalgic than Generations was, which is sad.
Funny. Yeah.
But right off the bat, the game looks good. It's not quite Hedgehog engine levels of fidelity, but it's harmless. It looks okay.
Yeah.
The problem with Lost World, the level design just isn't that good.
No. Yeah.
Because every level is designed in this, like, tube-like fashion.
Yeah.
And there's an emphasis on, like, exploring around. I mean, the controls are fine. Like, everything Sega did. Like, this game is very well made.
Yeah.
Everything Sega tried to do works.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's just not fun.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, too.
Oh, you go first, and then I'll go.
It's a shame, because the story's okay. It's not... I mean, the Deadly Six, the villains for the game, they're very generic and one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But the story's fine. The soundtrack's phenomenal. It's very much in the same vein as Colors.
Yeah.
It's just...
the level design kills it.
I mean, it's not even that it's awful. It's just meh. Like,
yeah.
After Generations, which I think is like peak.
Yeah, it was such a hard thing to follow up.
Yes.
You know.
And I don't want to sound like I'm glancing over Lost World, but that's just kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't really remember. There was no like that special like spark, because even, like, that spark that Colors had, like, it had that, like, wow, like, this is awesome. And then, obviously, Sonic Generations, wow, this is awesome. And then Sonic Lost World, cool. Like,
so
it kind of, like, took a step back from that high, like, that streak they were on, and they were just like, alright, we're gonna try something new, and all the fans were just like, no! I thought you learned this already!
Well, here's the thing about Lost World. This is probably the most split on a Sonic game I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because some of the fans liked it.
Yeah.
But a lot didn't. It was so split down the middle. Like, and it wasn't even, like, overwhelmingly on either side. It was just so...
down the middle. Yeah.
You couldn't really figure it out. And the worst part is, because it was a Wii U exclusive on a system, the Wii U was struggling hard at this point.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people played it.
Yeah.
Now, so it came and went. I mean, it was like, okay, a little misstep.
Yep.
They can move on from
They can
this.
bounce back from this. They can.
So the second game, and then we get the second game in the exclusivity deal. It's another Mario and Sonic Olympic Games title. I mean, we talked about those in the Wii, our Wii retrospective.
Yep.
They're harmless, although I heard the one for the Wii U was crap, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point. It's a spin-off.
Moving on.
Not relevant.
Yep.
So then we get to the third game in this 3-game deal.
Yep.
And my God, the third game.
Oh no.
So, out of nowhere, we get this... Sonic's kind of quiet for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, we get this stock, just kind of teaser image of Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. Radically redesigned.
Oh no! Oh, I didn't know what game you were talking about, and
yeah.
as soon as you said that, I knew what game you were talking.
So, we didn't really have a lot of info on what was going on. And then we later find out it's a spin-off series called Sonic Boom that's being made by an American studio outside of Sega. Sonic Team's not touching it. This is completely an independent project.
Oh no.
And all I remember is these images, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's not the same universe, so whatever. Okay, they changed up the look.
Yep.
And at the time, it was kind of like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Then we get the first trailer. And admittedly, the first trailer didn't look that bad.
Yep.
Like, it looked interesting. Like, everyone looked pretty fast. And it looked like it was going to be a fun little kind of 4-player, multiplayer-focused kind of like Sonic platforming game with more of an American style.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, let's see how it goes. Then things get quiet, and they kind of slowly kind of trickle out info. We find out there's going to be a TV show tie-in, a comic tie-in. It's also going to have a separate handheld version, which is going to have its own story.
They were really trying to, like, this was, to me, it felt like it was very much a cash grab, where they could make a lot of merchandise, they could make a lot of this, make a lot of that, and make a lot of money. And the game, it almost, to me, like, the game almost felt like it wasn't really about the game, it was more about the TV show, and the game was just one aspect of, like, kids can watch the TV show, and then they can play the game. That's how I kind of felt about it.
So, there's a lot of rumors behind it. Some people theorize the studio that made it, Big Red Button, they were working on an unrelated, like, platforming game, and then Sega kind of offered, like, hey, why don't we make this a Sonic game thing? But it's not confirmed. There's a lot of rumors.
Yeah.
What we do know is, behind the scenes, this game wasn't intended for the Wii U.
Oh, no.
It was intended for the PS4, Xbox One, I believe.
Yep.
Because it runs off the Cry engine, which is the engine that runs Crysis.
Yep.
And the Wii U was not designed to handle the Cry engine.
Nope.
So that first trailer we saw that looked really cool, that wasn't running off Wii U technology.
No, that was running off PlayStation or Xbox technology.
It was probably PC. It was probably PC, but
oh no! Yep.
So they have to cramp because Sega was in that exclusivity deal with Nintendo. They basically had to be like, okay, this is the final game in that.
Yep.
And they had to force it onto the Wii U. And the game comes out and immediately negative reviews, and I'm oh boy. Here we go.
And the reviews were kind of well deserved.
Some of them.
Some of them, but like
people were being melodramatic.
Oh yeah, no, people were being melodramatic. Some of the things were stupid, but when you actually look at the game,
when you have people
it's a very rushed game.
Well, it's not even rushed. It just was designed clearly for the wrong consoles.
Yeah.
It also it's not a Sonic game.
No.
But I saw reviews of people being like, it's worse than 06. I'm like, it's not worse than 06.
Yeah, I don't think, like, honestly, like, I don't think it's in the same category. They're so different.
06 is on a level. 06 is on a level of its own.
Oh yeah, it's like 06. Yeah, it's just very, to me, like, they don't belong in the same categories. Like, they're both bad, but they're bad for their own reasons. Like,
whenever the Sonic fan base doesn't like a game now, they immediately go to 06.
Yeah, and it's
06
unfortunate, but like, that's just how it's gonna be forever. Because 06 is just so. It's made a name for itself that is probably one of the worst games like that Sega has ever made.
06 is on another level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Boom ended up being this colossal failure.
Yeah.
Now it had decent points. Like the actual writing in the game isn't bad.
Yeah. No.
And the voice actors, they hit their peak here, in my opinion.
No, I thought the voice acting was very good.
Like, Amy doesn't sound stupid anymore. Like, Roger Craig Smith sounds great. Eggman is always great.
And they had a good amount of practice, but I also think, too, with working on the TV show, they had like, just a lot of time together and charisma together, so they probably were just used to working with each other.
You also got to understand, too, they had an American director. Like,
oh, yeah, that, too.
The Japanese games, they had Japanese directors who couldn't really speak English. And,
yeah.
You know, that's part of the problem with the Sonic series for a while now.
Yep.
But, yeah, so aside from that, like, it has good points, but the game itself is just not very good.
No.
Which says something, because the TV show was actually pretty good.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was actually, like, a pretty decent TV show.
I mean, it's stupid, like, it's juvenile, and, like...
Oh, yeah.
It's not something I'd watch.
Show. It's a kid's show, but it's a perfectly fine kid's show.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I watched, like, 1 or 2 episodes, I was like, this is fine. Like,
yeah,
it's not awful.
It's for kids. Like, it's not for me, because, like, I'm an adult now, but, like, it's for its audience, it's perfect. It was a great little show for the target audience.
In my opinion, it's the best Sonic TV series there's ever been.
It's
so
much
far.
better than, what was the other one called? Sonic?
There's Sonic X, Sonic Underground.
Sonic X.
I mean, the sad AM fans might throw a fit, but I mean, I have no nostalgia for that show, so...
Yeah, no. In our opinion, this was probably one of the best shows.
And then there was the handheld games.
Weren't they better? Weren't they superior?
So, the first one... Yeah, they're both miles better than Rise of Lyric, the Wii U game. The first 3DS game, Shattered Crystal... Mm-hmm. It's not a good game, because it's very flawed, but it had a direction that was actually... decent.
Yeah. Its
follow-up with Fire and Ice is a really good side-scroller. Mm-hmm. For what it is. Like, I recommend if you're going to play a Boom game, play Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
That's the one that's worth it. Now, so following Rise of Lyric, well, Sonic Boom in general, the series is in another, like, the fan base is like, it's over, what are we going to do? Yep. Sonic's dead.
They were like, we had something great, and they just ruined it again.
Yeah. So, during this period, it's like, okay, this fan base is never going to be happy, but...
Nope.
All of a sudden we get hope, because all of a sudden you get... Sega's working on... So Sega had released a bunch of, like, mobile ports, along with, of, like, their classics of Sonic 1, 2, and CD.
Yep.
Remade from the ground up by, a team of, Christian Whitehead, who made this, also known as Taxman, who made this custom engine called the Retro Engine.
Yep.
And he worked along with another guy named Simon Stealth Tomley.
Yes, and you mentioned him before as the guy
That's the Stealth who made the perfect port of Sonic 1 on GBA.
Yep.
They worked together on these ports, ground up. These are the definitive ports of Sonic 1, 2, and CD. Wow. It's a shame that the 1 and 2 ports are stuck on a mobile phone, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So, then we get word they're making an original game.
Oh, I just have to say, like, that is so cool how someone who went from just doing something from their spare time went to actually making, like, actual Sonic games.
Well,
like,
for years, people...
It's so cool! Like, that's
Sonic,
just so cool to me,
yeah,
sorry.
Because the Sonic fan game community has always been really cool.
Yeah.
Like, doing great stuff. So, for years, people have always been saying, let the fans make a game, because they clearly know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So finally, these two very well-received guys finally get to make a game. And that game eventually becomes Sonic Mania.
Yep.
And Sonic Mania, hands down, one of the best Sonic games ever made.
Yep.
A lot of the levels are admittedly retreads, like just remasters of reimaginings of classic stages with like much better music. The guy who did the soundtrack, T-Lope's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But then the original stages are phenomenal too. Plays just like the classics, like everything. The whole idea behind Mania was they described it as this lost Sega Saturn like Sonic game.
Yep.
Like if they made a Sonic game on the Saturn back in the day, like a classic 2D side scroller.
Mm-hmm.
That was their goal, and oh my god, it hits in every way possible.
Yeah.
Mania is so good.
Yep.
The thing about Mania though is Mania actually, the plot of Mania ties in to what would be called, at the time it was like Project Sonic 2017. Mm-hmm. Oh god, 2017.
Oh, that's
but anyways,
so long ago.
Besides the point, this is what would eventually become the next main Sonic game.
Wow.
Oh boy. And now the next main Sonic, I have mixed things about this one.
Yeah.
So, during the pre-release, they hyped up, going back to the boost formula. So, okay, we're going back there. Mm-hmm. The team, they hyped up it was being made by the Colors and Generations team, which was a half-truth. It wasn't exactly the same people.
Yeah. But it was some of the people.
Yeah. And it was going back to that direction. So immediately everyone's like, okay. But on the flip side, though, it was looking to be a very dark game.
Yep.
Because the whole plot is like is basically Eggman wins the game.
Yep.
So that game eventually became Sonic Forces. And the Sonic Forces build-up was interesting because... So the whole thing is, classic Sonic's in the game, again. Mm-hmm. Although this classic Sonic is the Sonic from Mania.
Yep.
Because the Mania ends where that classic Sonic gets sent to Forces.
Yep.
And they kind of mess up the continuity a bit because they try to claim that it's a Sonic from another dimension, not Sonic from the past. I disregard that. It's Mania Sonic is suddenly in Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
But Sonic Forces' key thing was the create a character feature.
The Sonic fan character
Yeah,
system.
they finally went there.
Everyone wanted to make their Sonic OC, and they let them make their Sonic OCs.
Alright. Not gonna lie, I've played through Forces twice.
Yep.
The fan character creation thing is the best part of the game.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
They did a really good job.
Yeah.
And so here's my thing about Forces. It plays fine. Gameplay-wise, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, the problem with Forces is, A, it's too short. Mm-hmm. Which is just a flaw with Sonic games ever since they started going with the boost formula. But also, the level designs are... a lot of them just... They don't feel like... It's just like, they don't go enough. Like, if you get what I'm saying. Like, they feel kind of like...
They feel like when it ends, like, it feels like you're like, oh, that's it? Like, I thought there was going to be more. Like, it feels like something's missing.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like... It feels like there could be more.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, though, the game looks great. Like, it's using the Hedgehog engine again, apparently an upgraded version of it.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack. The soundtrack is cool because it went for more of like an anime style, believe it or not. Because the opening theme, Fist Bump, which triggers people for some reason, but I like it, is like an anime opening. Huh. And they got Doug Robb from Hoobastank to do the vocals.
That's funny.
And then they also got this other band called... shit. Oh, God. Oh, shit. What's the name of it? It's going to bug the shit out of me now. No, Danger Kids.
Danger Kids.
Who are kind of like, they're like a Linkin Park inspired band, and they did a song too. They did the theme of the game's villain. And yeah, it's not awful.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's just not
great.
It's
very meh.
There's something there. They just.
Yeah.
The problem is too, it came out right after Mania, and that was was
so good. Yeah. No, I think what happened too probably is that like they probably like were trying to make this game. I think what happens when they do games where you can design a character and like that character, they have to put that character model. There's a lot of background stuff that goes into like having you be able to create those special character models, and I think it almost sometimes limits them on the games. Like they can only do so much, and I think that's the only flaw about doing something where having that option of creating your character, it just kind of limits the gameplay almost, because there's a lot of work that takes into like being able to have all those customizable options. So I think that's where the downfall really falls with that game, is that because of, it's kind of like a give and take, you know, you wanted this, but like because of that there's not as much content.
I think the way I've described it, like I talked about it on my blog recently, it's not a bad game, it's just average.
Yeah, it's just meh.
There's people who act like it's up there with 06 in terms of the worst Sonic games.
Oh
I look
my
at them
god.
I'm like, it's not that bad.
No.
It's just it's just there.
Yeah.
And that's really all it. I don't know. So here's the thing. Forces as of right now is the final.
It is?
Yeah, we haven't got a new one since.
When did that come out? 2017.
2017.
Oh my god.
Since then we've got Team Sonic Racing, which is another Sonic racer, a decent game. We got Sonic Mania Plus, which was an expanded version of Sonic Mania that added more content.
Yep.
Which was really good. But other than that, yeah, it's been pretty dry for Sonic. Like.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, isn't a bad thing. It's just, I mean, at least it shows they're working on stuff.
Yeah, and also, too, like, there is delays because of everything that's happened with the world, so you gotta take that into consideration, too, so... But,
I mean, aside from that, the Sonic movie came out, and, I mean, we could do a whole podcast on the movie at some point, but the movie was good.
We should watch it and then, like, talk about it in a little podcast after.
That's why I want to kind of glaze over, because I there's a lot to talk about with the movie.
Coming soon.
Yeah. At a much later time. We don't have time. That's going to be in the works. But since then, Sonic's 30th anniversary is coming up now.
Yeah.
And Sega has been doing a really good job hyping it up. Because they've announced... They did this whole symphony orchestra, like, of performing music from Sonic's history.
Oh, that's cool.
Johnny Gioeli and Crush 40 were there.
Oh, that's really cool.
And they actually got they got YouTuber Nate Wants to Battle to do a bunch of the songs too.
Oh, that's so sick! Oh, like that's really cool.
He sang City Escape, like Endless Possibilities. He did it's a really cool concert. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to check that out. That's really cool that they that they invited him to do that. Like that's just
because
awesome.
he had released a bunch of covers, and I mean it was probably easier than getting everyone else because I mean. Obviously, Johnny Gioeli was going to be there for Crush 40.
Yep.
But tracking down all the other singers would have been probably an ordeal, especially with the world still being the way it is right now.
Yep.
But, and then the other thing they've announced, and we're going to end it off here, is they've announced a remastered version of Colors for PS4, I think PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Yep.
And it's going to
the Switch?
I think it's on the Switch. I'll have to look into it.
I hope it's on the Switch, because I'll be playing that.
It's based off the Wii version, but it's going to feature updated graphics, additional content, like tweaks and stuff, and it's only going to be like $40.
Huh. Sweet.
So, I mean, immediately it's like Sega's already like, I'm pretty excited for that, and supposedly they're working on other stuff.
Yeah.
So... I think we'll leave it there for now.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonic, it's been a ride.
Yeah. Oh. It's been a journey.
They're taking their time.
Yep. But so that's good. That's good.
Hopefully that means whatever they're working on...
It's going to be great.
I just want a good game. I don't care what it is.
I'm knocking on wood. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. we can only hope.
Oh my god, the audio.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I'll have fun editing it, but
Your problem,
yeah.
not mine.
So we'll probably do another Sonic podcast later down talking about the movie, because I have a lot to say with that.
Yeah.
But for now, guys, we're gonna end it off here.
Yeah.
This one's been interesting.
I finished my
I
iced tea.
Yes, you did. I finished my beer. Yeah, Sonic, two-parter.
Yeah.
Our first two-parter.
And you thought we could do this in one part, in one
I didn't
episode.
think we were gonna get sidetracked.
Bill, do you know who you're talking to? We get sidetracked
also,
every episode.
I didn't think 06 was gonna take as long as it did, but
Yes.
I should have known better.
Also, we didn't really talk about... I only brought up anime once, so...
Well, to be fair, though, I haven't really been watching it, and we glanced over Sonic X already, so...
Yeah, we could do a whole review on that.
Oh, yeah.
We could go back and rewatch it.
That and the Sonic OVA, we could talk about that at some point.
Oh, yeah. There's so many things we could talk about. More Sonic to come, people. Woo.
I'll have to introduce you to the Sonic comics at some point, because that's a whole adventure at some point as well.
Oh boy, alright.
Well, anyways, guys, the Gaming and Collecting Podcast is made on Anchor Podcasts, and you can easily find our podcast on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcasts. Woo. And anyways, guys, thanks again for joining us as we discuss the games that shaped us.
Woo.
We'll see you all next time.
See you later. Bye.
Later.
Oh.